Hey, this is Danny from Scare Talk. Before we get into all the horror greatness, I gotta let you know about Anchor. Anchor is the host site that we use to record our podcast. Anchor will upload your podcast to Apple and Spotify and many other listening platforms. Anchor is completely free, and you can download the app or go to the website, anchor.fm, and you can record straight on there. There's also some cool editing tools that you can use. Did I mention that it's free? Yeah, so if you want to make a podcast, Anchor is the way to go. Go check it out. Now, for the spooky stuff.
Welcome to Scare Talk, and welcome to the review series of the franchise Saw.
Oh yeah, this is Scare Talk. I am Danny. I'm here with Jiggy Joel.
Jiggy, let's get jiggy with it.
Yeah.
Hey guys, what's up?
All right, the time has come for the final of the current Saw movies. We have Jigsaw 2017.
Yes, we do.
Yes, and we got Spiral coming soon. So,
Yep.
Joel, who is in Jigsaw?
All right, so this one stars Matt Passmore. He's Logan. He was in a show called McLeod's Daughters. 55 episodes of that. I can't.
Okay.
I think that's an Irish name. I can't pronounce that though.
Okay.
He was in Son of the Mask. And 49 episodes of The Glades, which I have heard of. That one. I haven't watched it, but I've heard of it.
Wait, Son of the Mask? Is that like the sequel to the Jim Carrey movie?
Yeah, it's like it doesn't have Jim Carrey in it. It's really cheesy.
Yeah.
I never watched it, but
Me either.
it's got like Jamie Kennedy in
Oh, okay.
it. Yeah. And we have Callum Keith Rennie. He's Detective Halloran. He was in Memento.
Yeah.
14 episodes of Californication.
Mm-hmm.
Blade Trinity and Butterfly Effect.
Okay. Nice.
And then we have Hannah Emily Anderson, who plays Elle. She is in Lizzie Borden Took an Axe, a 2014 TV movie.
All right.
The Purge, 10 episodes, which I think is like the entire series. I think they canceled after one season.
Okay.
And then X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Okay. Cool.
And this was written by Josh Stolberg, who wrote Sorority Row, Piranha 3D, Good Luck Chuck, and Spiral.
Oh. All right.
And also,
that doesn't get me too excited.
I know. Yeah,
right.
I'm hoping. I like Sorority Row. It's a fun horror movie.
Yeah.
And Piranha 3D was a fun movie too, but writing wise, I don't know. And also Pete Goldfinger, who did the same movies except he didn't do Good Luck Chuck. So Sorority Row, Piranha 3D, and Spiral.
Goldfinger?
Yeah, Pete Goldfinger.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a Bond villain.
Yeah, I know.
That's funny. Okay.
And this is directed by in the movie it said the Spierig brothers. Michael and Peter Spierig. They both did Daybreakers, Predestination, and Winchester.
Okay.
So
Predestination. Is that like
that
Final
Ethan
Destination? The like
it's kind of
prequel?
like a no. This is the place to go before the Final Destination.
Yeah.
It had Ethan Hawke in it. It's like a sci-fi movie.
Okay.
So I have seen Daybreakers, which was an okay movie, and I've heard of the other two. Yeah.
Okay.
So they both did those movies.
Cool. All right. So bodies are turning up around the city, each having met a uniquely gruesome demise. As the investigation proceeds, evidence points to one suspect, John Kramer, the man known as Jigsaw, who has been dead for over 10 years. There you go. So,
oh man,
this one is 2017. Saw the final chapter was 2010. So
yeah,
we had a good chunk
pretty
of time.
big break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the other ones, I believe, were back to back, year after year. So this one,
yeah, there may have been a year in between, like a couple of them, but for the most part, they were every year.
Yeah.
Leading
Okay.
up to this moment.
Yeah. So I remember seeing this trailer, not knowing that this was even a thing, and seeing this trailer and thinking, "Oh, wow, cool! You know, we're gonna get another Saw movie. Hopefully, they can bring the franchise back." You know, and that's not what happened. But let's talk about positives. So, Joel, what you got?
Okay. The very beginning, the music in the beginning of the movie was pretty good.
Okay.
I did notice. So I was writing stuff down as they were happening.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, the music is pretty cool in the very beginning of the movie before it even says Jigsaw. It's just like so like booming music.
Yeah. It did. This movie felt like it was bigger. You know, like it had a big budget. It was a bigger movie.
Yeah. It definitely had a bigger feel to it.
Yeah.
A bunch of like no-name actors, but a bigger feel at least.
Yeah.
So I have the whole opening scene as a positive, but I think that's more of a mixed to me.
Okay.
It was kind of cool to see, like, it was different from the other Saw movies.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when it comes to beginning Saw moments, where it has this guy who's on a rooftop, and he's got a swarm of cops all around him, they have their guns pointed at him, and he has to push this button to start the traps for 5 more people, or he will die.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool. What I didn't like about that was the fact that it was also stupid at the same time, because they've got their guns pointed at this guy, and they're telling him to drop it, or they'll shoot. And he's like, "I'm not going to die today," and then presses the button, and then he gets killed. Like, I mean, one of the cops, Halloran, does say to point their guns at the remote itself, but I mean, obviously, with all those guns pointed at you, there's going to be some that hit you. And that scene was kind of cool, but having him actually do it and then end up getting killed was kind of stupid, because it's like, okay, just you're basically gonna die regardless,
Right? So
I don't know. It was just kind of it was a cool moment that was kind of ruined at the same time. I do like the trap that Mitch, the black guy, ended up getting into, the one that like cut him up, basically. The spiraling one.
Yeah.
I thought that trap was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is going to be a negative for you, but I actually love the twist ending.
Oh, okay.
It actually, what I have written down here, it actually made me rethink some of my negatives, because as I was writing down some stuff, I had some stuff written down, but as soon as that twist ending happens, it kind of defeats some of my negatives that I have. Makes it make more sense.
Yeah. Was it the fact that it was happening 10 years in the past or something? Was that what made it make sense?
One of my negatives, the last negative that I have on here, is timeline is still all over the place. So
okay.
So having John actually show up, to these guys, I was like, what is going on with this timeline? Like, it made absolutely no sense. But, once the twist ending happens and they have flashbacks of some of the characters, the character going like the bodies were never found.
Yeah.
And this trap was never never actually used by Jigsaw.
Yeah.
It made that scene make more sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually, I'm kind of surprised it took them 10 years to find these bodies. That's a little unbelievable to me, but at the same time, it was kind of cool that something 10 years ago was happening simultaneously with what's happening today.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that twist, the twist kind of caught me off guard up until the whole laser scene.
Yeah.
Because one thing Saw does that does not shy away from is showing gore.
Mm-hmm.
And when the ending happened with the twist ending, the guy gets cut up by the lasers.
Yeah.
He just falls down.
Yeah, it doesn't
nothing
show,
happens.
Yeah.
It doesn't show his face like it would if lasers were cutting up your face. Like once you fall, your face is, all over the place. It didn't show that. And I was like, Saw doesn't shy away from that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So something's going on here. And then when I'll talk about that later.
I know what you're going to say. But yeah, let's talk about things you liked.
Yeah. So I liked the twist ending to it. Yeah, that's really all that I have written down here for those. I don't have a whole lot of positives for this movie.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think quite a bit of the negatives that I have are, for the most part, nitpicks.
Okay.
But I had to put them down as negatives.
Okay.
So, yeah, I have quite a few more negatives than I have positives. So,
okay.
We'll get to that.
So for me, this is some of the best acting, I feel like, in the whole series. So I'll give it a positive for acting, for Saw standards.
Yeah, not great, but for Saw standards, it's passable.
Yeah. Like you, it kind of kept me guessing. I knew even when I first saw it that these things were not happening at the same time. I knew that the 10-year, the stuff that was happening 10 years ago was not happening currently. So I kind of saw that coming, but
you saw that coming?
Yes. But I didn't know who was doing the stuff currently. So I couldn't put my finger on who it was until the end. So I like movies where it's kind of like the whodunit stories where, you're trying to figure out who the killer is and stuff. So I did like that about it. It did have a good mystery. John showing up was like, it was cool to see him in the movie. He's in it for one scene.
Yeah.
And that scene was probably my favorite scene of the whole movie. I liked that setup with the shotgun. Where he said your key is here or whatever in the shell. Yeah. And all they had to do was shoot it and get the shell. They didn't have to shoot one of them, And then when they did shoot one of them, it backfired on the person who was shooting. So I
cool. Called that before it actually happened.
Oh,
I was
did
like,
you?
It's going to backfire for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Because it's pretty straightforward up until like that point. I was like, something's gonna happen. Because I thought that the guy was gonna be the one that got the gun, not her. So I thought that maybe he made it backfire in hopes that he would be the one to get it and end up. Because he was, I'll talk about him later. But so I just thought that maybe the gun was going to backfire.
Okay.
And then And then he actually says, oh, it's going to backfire or something like that. Because it was something that like John had said, like kind of quietly, I guess, amongst the stuff that he said. He said something about backward or and he was like, "Oh, backward, it's gonna backfire," and then she fires it and kills herself.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, his how he speaks in parables and all that. Okay, so yeah, those are all my positives.
Okay.
So yeah, what's
not a whole lot for either one of us, I guess.
Yeah, no, I like the shotgun part, some of the mystery, and some of the acting.
Yeah.
And there you go. So,
all right.
Negatives.
Okay. So, negatives, as I was saying, I was writing them down as they were happening. So, these might actually be in order for the most part. So, in the trap. So, this was what we were talking about with Saw 7, about how most of those movies, this kind of would be a positive for me, actually. How most of those movies were just about one person trying to help other people in their own traps.
Yeah.
This one actually was in one building.
True.
Going back to like Saws 1 and 2 kind of thing.
Yeah.
And 3, I guess. So I did like that. That part of it was cool. Like having them all in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
Like going back to its roots to a certain extent. And I do like that. So that was kind of a positive for me that I completely forgot about. But then with that first one where the tape was saying that any amount of blood you give will set off the... So one of the characters, I don't remember which character this was. I don't think he lasted past the second part of it. He literally puts his finger up against the running blade.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what? Any kind of blood will do. Like you're about to not have a finger here in a second. Like, this is a running blade.
Yeah.
I would have put like the back of my palm up to it or something, like a little bit of blood that way. But he's like, oh, I'm going to put my finger up to it. I thought that was pretty stupid. So some of the things that the characters do were pretty dumb. I didn't like the trap, the needle trap.
Okay.
I didn't like that one just because it seemed like, so I know she was like reading off the numbers and everything on the needles.
Yeah. And
there was one that said like 3.16 or whatever.
Yeah.
So was that the correct one, or like was this supposed to just be like guess which one the needle is? Like it's
I think it was supposed to be that one, and I thought it was pretty clear when she realized that that's the amount of money she actually stole.
Yeah.
But then she never used it, and then the dude stabbed her with all three of them, and she died. Like it was kind of I agree.
Yeah,
that part was dumb.
That whole part was just really stupid. It's just like an unnecessary death. Yeah. And also, if that wasn't the right one, like you basically have a 33% chance of, of getting one of them right. Like and those are not those types of things are not Jigsaw puzzles. They're not what he not the type that he would usually use for those. So I just thought that part was kind of stupid. Also, my least favorite character in this movie was the impulsive, the guy who ends up living at the end. Well, not living, I guess. He ends up dying anyway. But the one who didn't get shot in the face.
Oh, yeah.
The last survivor.
Yeah.
I didn't like him at all. He was very compulsive. There was a couple of traps that at least one that didn't really need to even happen. If he hadn't just not gone through the not an exit or not an exit door. He's trying to outsmart Jigsaw. Like, come on, dude. And then gets his legs stuck. It's a pretty like horrific thing to have happen. That would really hurt.
Yeah.
But then what happened next when the other two are in that room? This is probably actually the worst part of the movie for me because it just didn't make any sense.
Okay.
So the remaining two are trapped in a room that's about to get, have like sand. They're about to be drowned in sand, basically. And there's a tape. And on the tape, Jigsaw actually calls out Ryan, the guy who got his foot stuck in the trap. How
true.
did Jigsaw know that particular character was going to do that?
Yeah, that's true.
And what if nobody had done that? All three of them would have been trapped, and none of them would have lived, basically. So it's like, that part, it's more or less a nitpick, I guess, but at the same time, not really, because it's kind of a important plot point, since, it could have killed all three of them right there if he hadn't been so compulsive and tried to go out the not an exit door.
Right.
And Jigsaw just happened to know which one was going to do that out of 5.
Right. Yeah.
that were trapped in there. Like, okay, that pretty cool odds there, I guess.
Right.
And also the guy who sold the one kid a bike that ended up having the brakes not work, but it was like his nephew or whatever.
Yeah.
He talks briefly about what happened, about how he sold the kid a bike and that he ends up getting killed. He ends up dying. In the tape, Jigsaw mentions that Mitch is his name. Mitch talked about a little bit about what happened, but he didn't say the whole thing. How does Jigsaw know? Again, it's a pre-recorded tape. It's just it comes down to just bad writing. Like, honestly, it's I don't know. And the other two I have were basically called out with the twist. Was it's been supposedly 10 years since John Kramer died, and yet he's there. Yeah. And then timelines all over the place. Yeah. So those two were kind of proven wrong.
Yeah.
But it's just the other stuff that happened with it. It's just like I don't know. So, the writing was pretty poor in this movie as far as the characters go and everything.
So was it a tape that he played when he said that Mitch didn't tell you the whole story or whatever? Was it a tape that he played? Okay.
It was a tape.
So dumb.
Yeah, it was a pre-recorded tape.
That's so dumb.
It was a pre-recorded tape with Ryan too, about how he has to save them.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on.
That's bad. That's really bad. I can't believe I didn't catch that. That's bad. Okay, so for me, I'm surprised you didn't mention this, but the CGI with that last kill was ridiculous.
with
the laser.
Okay. That is what I was going to mention. I didn't write that one down for some reason, but yeah, it was really bad. It was like a flower wilting or something. That was really bad. And like, I was expecting something to happen to the other guy, but not that. Like, how would that even work? Like, the pieces of him would just fall off, not like wilt, like a dying flower.
Like flop down. Yeah.
It was
weird.
Bad.
That was weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a big negative for me.
Yeah.
This movie is just not necessary.
It's not.
It doesn't add to the original Saw story. It doesn't, because the current things that are happening have nothing to do with Jigsaw, really. Yeah. The 10 years ago trap, it's when he was at his heyday of everything. But the stuff that's currently happening with like the police department and stuff really has nothing to do with John. So
no, it doesn't.
That, I know that he was like, again, another accomplice
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
John, which now we're at 4.
Wait. Are we going to have 5 with Spiral? Is it going to be an accomplice or
Yeah.
a copycat?
Yeah, I don't know. I
hope a
don't know.
copycat.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was really the only connection to John.
Well, it was also his nephew that died. So that's another thing too. Like revenge has never really been his thing.
Right.
There was the first guy that he put in his trap was for revenge. The guy that's like the crackhead
Mm-hmm.
that ends up, being the cause of the miscarriage.
Oh yeah.
That was more or less revenge, but that was the first one. So he has grown over time. So this shouldn't have been. Yeah, he should have been. Well, it was pretty bad what he did, selling him a bike that the brakes were going out. But at the same time, I mean, buyer beware. Like it's kind of one of those things that it's not. He wouldn't be convicted of a crime because of that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not really, John's not about revenge.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the only thing that he did, yeah, his nephew did die, which is a horrible thing. But it's not some like ongoing thing that he doesn't just sell a bunch of people bikes with bricks that are going out. It's not something that he does.
Yeah.
He just happened to have done it that one time.
Right.
And then, so that's all about revenge. And then with the girl, what she did was horrible too, but at the same time had nothing to do with John.
Yeah.
With the whole baby and, she ends up suffocating the baby. Yeah, she should be in prison.
Yeah.
But, I mean, again, like, are these all just... So we only really got to know, 3, I guess, of the confessions of the 5 or 6 people, but really only 2 of them were related to John.
Yeah.
Because the other one was like forging, or not forging, but it had to do with what was it? His X-rays.
He put the wrong name on
the wrong name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and it was funny because he's the one that John took in and trained him on how to be Jigsaw. So what's funny about that and what's really dumb about that is he had him in the trap because he screwed up, right, on his name. And then John's like, oh, you know what? Everybody makes mistakes, no big deal. Now I'm going to train you to be Jigsaw.
Wasn't it the other guy? I thought that it was the other guy that confessed to that, though. I know that he ends up at the very end with the lasers being like, yeah, it was me. I put the wrong name on it, but it was the guy with the shotgun, the guy that ends up quote unquote living at the end of that, that ended up confessing to that, though. I thought he was the one that put the wrong name on the X-rays.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm almost positive it was him.
So what did that like? That I don't even know what he was like. He did autopsies or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What? Because he was in that. Wasn't he in that original trap from 10 years ago?
He was. Yeah, he was the one that we thought he was the one that wouldn't wake up.
Yeah.
And what I'm thinking with that is that John realized that he already had the guy, so it was kind of like his mistake to put him in there, which is why he brought him out again.
Okay.
Because he wasn't the one really responsible for it.
Okay.
I don't know. That whole part was kind of confusing to me because I'm pretty sure that the other guy did confess.
Yeah.
To putting the wrong name on the X-ray.
Okay. Well.
So.
Either way, it's a mess, and so I don't know. I didn't like that he had a trap for these 5 people or whatever, 6 people. He had a trap for them, and then one of them is not like awake, or it's almost like John was like, man, this isn't any fun, you're not even awake, so I'm gonna get you out of here, and now you're gonna work for me. Or it's just,
well, he woke up at the like right as
he was gonna
by
die.
the blade. Yeah,
but it's almost like it wasn't,
and which set it off.
Yeah,
so I don't think that trap was meant to really kill anybody, because as soon as any kind of blood was spilled, it was going to shut off.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what that first trap was really for, because it wasn't meant to kill anybody.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess unless you put like your throat right up to the blade or something, and then it just slashes your throat. But other than that, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it was just not necessary. It had. It wasn't connected to John very much, and so why even have it? So I'm hoping that Spiral, like you said, is a copycat, and maybe it's connected to John at some point, but not someone who was trained by John or whatever. Someone brand new, trying to kind of copy what John was doing. I don't want John to be a part of this.
No, you can have his name in there. You can have John Kramer or even Jigsaw be mentioned. But I did look at the cast, and he's not mentioned in the cast. So
yeah, I don't want it to
they
be
might be saving that until the movie.
Yeah, a surprise cameo.
Yeah,
I don't want it to be like
end.
John's son, or his brother, or some dumb like that.
John's son's dead. Isn't that the whole point of this movie, of the Saw series?
Yeah. Well, he had another son. I hope that doesn't happen.
No. I hope there's really no connection whatsoever. But we'll see. Has the same writers as this one. So,
that's what I'm worried
although
about.
the same directors as 2 through 4, so it kind of, it's weird. It's in that, those were in my opinion, some of the best. And then we've got the writers of this one, which we'll see.
All right, let's grade it.
All right. So this one's tough for me because there were more negatives for me than positives, but I do like the mystery aspect of it. And I did like the twist. I really wasn't expecting him to actually be the killer. So because I like the twist, it's pretty much the only reason. I'm going to give this one a 70.
Okay. I'm going 60.
All right. Yeah, it'd be in the 60s for me if the twist was just really stupid. But I actually enjoyed the twists, so
okay, cool.
Bumped me up a little bit.
Yeah. So next one will be Spiral, and then we'll do the ranking. This is going to be hard to rank. I feel like a lot of them are the same. It's going to be kind of hard to rank. They're going to all kind of be very close to each other.
I think I have my top. I think I have my favorite and my least favorite. Okay. But everything in between, I don't know. Yeah. It's going to be hard.
Yeah. Go find us on Facebook at Scare Talk Podcast. We're on Instagram at Scare Talk Pod, and we're on Twitter at Scare Talk. Instagram at Scare Talk, Twitter at Scare Talk Pod. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on Google.
We're everywhere.
Let's see how fast I can say all that.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Sleep tight.
Don't let. I don't know. All right. Don't let John Kramer bite.